they announced Robert Downey Jr. on the stage in Comic-Con, was it? I can't remember what it was. When they brought him out on stage and said, "Here is your new Doctor Doom," you kind of had a sense with the multiverse, with Secret Wars being the end game, so to speak, to what they're doing at Marvel right now, that was not going to be the end of the legacy characters, so to speak, continuing on in the MCU. And then just this past July, we had Chris Evans himself pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine, which I must say, when Chris Evans popped up in Deadpool and Wolverine, even though he wasn't Captain America, even though he was Johnny Storm, totally different character from a totally different set of franchise films, my heart fluttered. It was so nice to see him. It just felt like coming home. It was such a warm, welcoming feeling to see Chris Evans on the screen again. And I had a suspicion that was not going to be the last time that we saw him. And now it is official, guys, because Variety is reporting that Chris Evans has been added to Avengers Doomsday. So this comes to us from Variety. Here's what they had to say. It's looking like Chris Evans will return in Avengers Doomsday. The actor best known to Marvel fans for playing Steve Rogers, a.k.a. the Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is circling another MCU appearance in 2026 comic book epic. However, it's not clear who he'll be playing because, spoiler alert, at the end of 2019's Avengers Endgame, Cap had aged into an old man and passed the character's patriotic shield to Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson. And this summer, Evans showed up in a brief scene-stealing role in the billion-dollar smash Deadpool and Wolverine as Johnny Storm, a.k.a. the Human Torch, his character from Fox's 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four movies. Plot details with Doomsday have been kept under wraps, but Robert Downey Jr. is back to, not in his career-defining role as Iron Man, but as Dr. Victor Von Doom, the main villain for the Fantastic Four. Yada, yada, yada. We kind of already know all this already. So, Cap is back. Or is it Cap? Because I've seen some theories out there. And as this article says, it's not clear who exactly he'll be playing when he comes back. So, what are the options? What are the options for Captain America's return? People have been saying Johnny Storm. I personally don't think Johnny Storm is on the table. Because, spoiler alert for Deadpool and Wolverine, he kind of spilled his guts all over the floor once his skin got ripped off. Now, they could do another Johnny Storm, another Chris Evans, Johnny Storm coming through the portal, whatever. I don't know. We've been there, done that. We did the Johnny Storm. They already did that with Deadpool and Wolverine. Do you bring him back as a Captain America variant, which seems to be the prominent theory because we've got Iron Man, or Robert Downey Jr., I should say, coming back as Victor Von Doom. Some are already calling that a Tony Stark variant, even though Marvel themselves are saying that's not a Tony Stark variant. When you have the face of Tony Stark, when characters associate that face with Tony Stark, doesn't matter if you're the proper Victor Von Doom or not from another universe, you're going to be a Tony Stark variant in our minds. That's just how it works. That's how it's going to work. So the fact that we have beloved Iron Man now as a villain, are they going to do our beloved Cap, which Iron Man and Cap were kind of the souls of the MCU earlier on in its first three phases? Do you now do an evil Captain America with that? Do you now do a Hydra Captain America? For me, I'm not really interested in that. The Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom is already an idea where it's like, great, if you can execute that and not make it feel like a gimmick, that'll be fantastic. Robert Downey Jr. is a fantastic performer. I have no doubt that he can be a great Victor Von Doom. However, if you add another gimmick on top of the gimmick and have Captain America come in here as bad, played by Chris Evans once again, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can roll the dice twice on that. So would it be kind of interesting, depending on how it's executed, of course, if Captain America came in here as a big bad? Maybe. Now, is he going to be Captain America proper? Maybe they go into the timeline, pull out a proper Captain America from an earlier time in the MCU. Maybe you get Chris Evans at the right age for when he would be Captain America. That one I could see being more of a possibility. The problem with that possibility of bringing Chris Evans back as Captain America from a time, let's say they pull him out of phase 2 or whatever, you run the risk of undermining Sam Wilson's Captain America, because, you know, you've already got an uphill battle getting the audience on board with Sam Wilson taking over the shield, being Captain America. I mean, You can't deny that. I know people in my life who they only liked Captain America, or they only went to Captain America for Chris Evans, whether to objectify him or not. That's why they liked Captain America, was the portrayal by Chris Evans and just being Chris Evans himself. Now you're calling a new character, not just a new character, a side character who you're putting into the lead. Now you're calling him Captain America. He's got a lot to do to earn the audience's belief in him as Captain America. And if you bring Chris Evans back as the Captain America that we already know and love, you run the risk of people pushing Sam Wilson's Captain America once again to the side. If Marvel wants us to accept Sam Wilson as the new Captain America and build him up as the new Captain America, bringing back a Chris Evans as Captain America feels like they run the risk of undermining that. Then the third option, Old Man Cap. And without burying the lead, this is my favorite option, personally. Because at the end of Avengers Endgame, unlike Tony Stark, who was more than deceased, Captain America didn't go out deceased. Captain America lived on. He just aged, and now he's an old man. I think the idea of, once again, moving the MCU forward and seeing where Old Man Cap is now, maybe even just having Chris Evans in there as a little cameo or a little supporting character, not even in the action, that sounds more interesting to me. Now, I personally believe we're going to see Old Man Cap in Captain America Brave New World. I have nothing to back that up. I just think that it'd be a cool scene to have Sam Wilson go to Old Man Cap for support or for advice. Maybe you get that in Avengers Doomsday. Maybe our new group of Avengers, our new characters, trying to take down Victor Von Doom. They've been defeated. They're distraught. They need hope. They need someone to speak into their lives. And here comes Old Man Cap. To me, that's the idea I like the most, is to see Chris Evans, Old Man Cap, see where he is now, see how he is as Old Man Cap. That's more interesting to me than going back, just getting a younger version of Chris Evans, Captain America, throwing him in there, and now he's a part of the Avengers once again. Who knows how they're going to do this? All I know is that I'm not that shocked to hear that he's back. I'm happy he's back. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, in Deadpool and Wolverine, my heart fluttered. He's a very warm, welcoming feeling. That old familiar feeling of the MCU that I love, seeing Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back on the screen, is going to give me that. I just hope the story doesn't get compromised by doing so.